I'm here to talk to you today about the way that material culture can impact and demonstrate to us the values and the changes that were happening in a society. So today what I want to talk to you about is the idea of literacy. All right, so literacy is something we generally take for granted in our current state of mind, in our current cultural context today. Most people in America, most young people especially, are literate. However, this was not always the case, especially in Indiana. That was not always the case, especially in the early 19th century. By the late 19th century, with compulsory school, compulsory education, children especially, were much more literate than they had been in the past. And so I have three things for my collection here to show you, to demonstrate to you the way that showed up in material culture. So the first thing here is a little plate. So you can see that it has the alphabet, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, all the way around there, right? So it's an example of how children might have practiced their alphabet, right? This also speaks, this plate, though it is small, tells us a lot about the culture that was there, right? So one, it indicates literacy. Children are focusing on literacy. They have literacy kind of drilled into them in the home, right? One, you can also see the dog in the center of that is a kind of dog that still exists, but it's not a kind of dog that we associate with children nowadays, right? That's a pit bull. So pit bulls were actually, in the late 19th century, known as nanny dogs. So they were dogs that you would, if you had small children, a lot of times, people would buy pit bulls and have them as dogs that would kind of keep track of the children throughout the day and protect it. If a stranger came into town or something like that was to happen, then the nanny dog would be there. So it's kind of funny to think about children being protected by a pit bull nowadays, but that's sort of what their claim to fame in the late 19th century. So that's one item. The next item I have here is a spelling board. So this is from 1887. This is a board. It's a sort of game for children to practice their spelling with. So you didn't have to spend money on paper and pen and ink if you liked so. You could spell things like this. So you could spell D-R-A. Let's see if I can find the W somewhere. And we'll draw. That's an M, it looks like. Let's see here. Well, maybe that won't work. Yeah, we could do D-R-A-W, draw. So you could spell things here, you could practice that. It's called a universal spelling board. It has instructions on the back there of how it should be used. It's pretty self-explanatory, I think, but it's kind of fun to think about how people having that there. And you could actually, there was a way to fix the letters if they broke. There's a little catch right there that this part comes out. So you could put new letters in or fix letters when they were broken. You could fix them that way. The last item I want to show you today, related to literacy, is this. This is an autograph book. Now, when I think about autograph books, I think about going to Disney World and having Mickey Mouse sign my autograph book. Or I think about, if I really love celebrities, I might have a book of autographs that I had of celebrities that I was infatuated with. But this is actually a little book that belonged to a little girl named Molly, I believe, or May. Let me look and see. Let's see. Well, it doesn't say in here. I'm sure it says somewhere. But it says it's a book for a child, for a young person, and she would have her friends come over when she would visit her friends would visit her. They would sign in her autograph book. And so what I love about it is it shows us all the penmanship of these young people, right, that are writing in here. And sometimes there's an aunt, I think, in here as well. This is from the 1880s. 1884 is the first entry, and 1888 is the last entry, I believe. But this is a fun little one I love. It says, "Remember me long, remember me ever, and think of the fun we have had together." So there's little poems that they would write to each other in there as a way to remember each other when they were gone. But also speaks, if you think about it, to the way that literacy was sweeping the nation, and children especially, were much more able to write and to read and to spell than they had ever been before. So thank you for joining me for this little quick snippet of material culture and what it tells us about the past.